absolutely nobody should be surprised that information regarding Tulsi Gabbard could gravely damage our national security. Like, that chick has been sketch from the jump. Tulsi Gabbard was born into a cult in Hawaii. This cult was called the Science of Identity. Its central tenets focus around vegetarianism, strict adherence to yoga practices as it's an offshoot of Hinduism. They say that you can't drink, you can't have extramarital you-know-what, and their leader, Chris Butler, is virtually the Hindu version of Warren Jeffs. He believes that he's the Hindu incarnation of Krishna, or God, here on this earth. He takes the children of this cult away from their parents at a very young age, and he sends them to boarding schools where they are literally physically abused until they accept him as their Lord and Savior. Tulsi and her parents are still part of this cult. Another one of their central tenets is that they're very anti-LGBTQIA+ community. They think that anybody who's not cis and straight is demonic, which is very odd because at a young age, Tulsi Gabbard ran for the state legislature of Hawaii as a Democrat, where like marriage equality is kind of our thing. And after she was part of the state legislature, then she enlisted into the Army National Guard, and she rose the ranks very, very quickly. She's been on many tours all over the Middle East, all over North Africa, and she was even considered to be a rising star in the Democratic Party by Nancy Pelosi. When she was in the Army, she was even dubbed to be the captain of civil affairs and psychological operations. Shortly after that, she ran for Congress as a Democrat, and after a short stint as a congresswoman, she ran for president in 2020, right? But even though she was running as the head of our party, she'd spent a lot of time trying to undermine what was going on with the Democrats, because 2 years after her run for Democratic leader, she dropped out of the Democratic Party because she said that her party was run by an elitist group of warmongers that were held captive by wokeism. Anybody that you see saying that Tulsi is their token Democrat, that's not true. She hasn't been a Democrat since 2022. And after she left the Democratic Party, she was just doing her own thing. She was a private contractor all of a sudden and spent a lot of her time in Syria, Iran, and Russia in a way that was so consistent with other bad actors in the world that she was put on a no-fly list. Not by a person or anyone that could have some sort of political motivation to putting her on that list. It was triggered in the system automatically because of where she was going and the people that she was talking to. But since she's got friends in high places, her ability to move around with freedom was reinstated, strangely. And after the Joker's win in 2024, she was nominated to become the Director of National Intelligence, despite the fact that she had never worked for the CIA. She was confirmed along party lines with only one Republican voting against her confirmation, and that was Mitch McConnell. He said that she lacked the readiness to be in that position and she could not be trusted with our national secrets. Are you going to say anything about it now, Mitch? Her profile was raised once again last week after she was seen in Fulton County, Georgia, where they were scooping up all of the tally information from Georgia. She's not supposed to be there because, by all accounts, this is a domestic matter, right? This is supposed to be part of the FBI, not the CIA. They're not allowed to take our personal information in terms of our tallies and have it in the CIA. That's against the law. And when people were asked about it, they just said, well, she's just concerned and she wants to be there, so she is. So do with that what you will. And then yesterday there was a bombshell report that came out of the Wall Street Journal where somebody in the National Intelligence Department reported her to the Inspector General, and the Inspector General deemed whatever information that he gave her to be so bad that if it were given to Congress, it could cause grave damage to our national security. So what did they do with that information? They locked it in a safe, so that none of us can see it, and that nobody who could provide any sort of oversight or have the ability to remove her from that position has the information needed to keep us safe. So what are you going to do with this information, Congress? Because criminals gone crazy.